Hello and welcome to episode 26 of Full Movie Podcast, a show where we talk about those long forgotten classics that deserve a rewatch. I'm Freya.
And I'm Matt.
How's Matt today?
I am groovy. I'm back in the swing of working and socialising, but staying safe.
Indeed, staying safe, wearing masks.
What about you?
Yes, I'm very good. Carefree mind all the time, never blue. Why don't I tell everyone what we're doing today?
Go ahead.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, this is a you episode.
It is a me episode. We've flipped things today. So today we are doing the 1959 comedy romp that is Some Like It Hot.
Awesome. After two male jazz musicians witness a mob hit, they flee a freezing Chicago in an all-female band disguised as women. Comedy ensues.
Directed by Billy Wilder, who is also known for The 7-Year Itch, Sabrina and The Apartment, and written by Billy Wilder. And
I love Sabrina.
I know, it's beautiful.
I do. I really, and the remake's good as well, with Harrison Ford and Greg Kinnear and Julia Ormond.
Sure, I haven't seen it, but I like the original.
You have, because I made you watch it.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, fair enough.
So,
well,
yes.
Written by Billy Wilder and I.A.L. Diamond, which is a good name.
That is a good name.
Who also wrote The Apartment, The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes, and The Fortune Cookie.
Cool.
Now, I'm just going to say that this film was nominated for 6 Oscars in total, including Best Actor in a Leading Role for Jack Lemmon. And it won Best Costume for Ori Kelly, who obviously did the costume design. And we're going to talk about that later, because costume plays a very, very important role in this movie.
In every pod, when we're preparing for one of the shows, I say to Freya, what do you want to talk about? You know, the acting, the effects, the camera angles, the script. And she's like, the costume. I'm like,
well, you know...
yeah.
I mean, for anyone who knows me, clothes are an important part of my life.
Yeah, I have to buy you a new wardrobe.
You do.
Yeah, as well as,
buckling under the weight.
Yes.
But in all seriousness, it is very essential, not only because of the cross-dressing element of this film, but we'll get on to that. What did you think?
So I have seen this film before.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very funny. Whilst we were watching it the other night, every time something funny happened, I'd kind of look over at Freya and she'd look at me and we'd both have a cheeky grin on our face.
Yes, we have that insufferable coupley thing where it's like, did you find that funny? Yeah, I found that funny.
I found that funny, yeah. I think that it's... How do I put this? It made me fall in love with Marilyn Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone bangs on about her, and I was always... she wasn't attractive, she's stunning. But it made me kind of love her that bit more. Yeah,
I mean, I think she's a bit of a kind of controversial figure, especially now, because of all the issues she had in her personal life. You know, with relationships, with substances... You know, she wasn't a straightforward person and obviously died very young. But purely looking at her as an actress, and particularly in this film, she's just so captivating, you know. Well,
this thing, I wouldn't say she was a good actress.
No, and neither would she have said.
Yeah. But I will say that you just can't take your eyes off her when she's on screen.
Absolutely.
And that's not just because of the dress that she wears, which is very revealing.
Well, yeah, I mean, her costumes are wonderful in this film.
Yeah.
And in most films, but they're so racy in this film. It's just, you know, I think she actually had to be sewn into most of her costumes.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there was no room for any... There was no wiggle room in any of those costumes.
Oh, you can tell.
But they're very, very revealing. I mean, there's one dress that she wears which basically just has sort of beading covering her nipples. And it's just, she looks phenomenal.
Is that when she's singing I Want to Be Loved by You?
Yes.
Yeah.
Boo Boo Be Doo.
Yeah. I should point out that the person who's got the spotlight on her, he I assume he is being very, very cautious where the light goes.
Oh, but it keeps above her chest.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't. It's not drifting down.
If it did drift down, you'd get an eyeful.
I mean, you still get an eyeful.
Yeah,
but,
he's
you
still
know.
doing.
But you know, she really is stunning, and she had a lot of tricks with how to make herself, you know, catch the eye with makeup, and you know, she just was very good at what she did. Whether she was a good actress or a good singer or a good comedian, you know, she played to her strengths.
Oh, she's very funny in this film.
She is very funny, and you know,
well, it's good writing. I mean,
Billy Wilder's a great writer.
The Apartment is hilarious.
I mean, you know, I strongly recommend people watch, you know, a good chunk of his back catalogue because they're very, very funny. But, you know, she plays the dumb blonde very well.
Yes, very, very well.
You know, she wasn't dumb, and she kind of had issues around people seeing her that way, but she was definitely typecast, and you know, there was no getting around that with the studio system and everything. That's just how it works, and, you know, contracts had to be fulfilled. But yeah, she's wonderful. You know, I no matter what your opinion of her as a person, I just think she's captivating and enchanting, especially in this film.
I will say that I've said it before. She's eye candy,
Yes,
without being derogatory. But when I say she's eye candy, like I said before, you no matter what's on screen at the time, if she's on the screen, you look at her and nothing else. It is so hard to look at other things on the film. In fact, I think I've only seen a few Marilyn Monroe films. 7 Year Itch, Some Like It Hot, and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much else. I always wanted to see The Misfits, but I don't know. I
haven't seen that one either, but yeah.
Film which I don't even know if it's made, because that's one.
It was made, yeah, but it was
Clark Gable one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I've never seen it on anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember if it was. I'm sure it has been made. It was made even, but I think it had a lot of issues during production, so
Right.
I'm not sure how good it is.
I just don't know enough about Marilyn Monroe, really. But all I do know is that she is stunningly beautiful. She's very, very funny, especially in this film.
Yes.
In Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, she's also quite a...
Oh, she's very funny in that as well. It's
So
Lorelei.
I can't remember 7 Year Itch, but I remember liking it when I did see it. But yeah, I do like this film.
Yes. Marilyn's great as Sugar. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, the cross-dressing.
There's an elephant in the room?
Well, no.
All right.
But so obviously...
It's a little room. You'd have thought I've noticed it.
There might be a small one, a pygmy.
Okay.
So obviously the main plot involves cross-dressing.
Okay, yeah.
And as this was made in 1959...
It was a different time.
But I think that it's not... It kind of handles it fairly well.
It does. I wouldn't say that there's very much controversial about this film.
So obviously Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, Joe and Jerry...
Yeah.
have to dress up, as you mentioned in your very good synopsis. They dress up as Josephine and Daphne in order to escape the mob.
Yeah.
And they're very hilariously unconvincing as women.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
I mean, Tony Curtis, the pout of his is
The pout
a bit...
is brilliant. But I just think they do such a fantastic job as being very different, you know, women as well, because... Tony Curtis plays it very kind of straight, and Jack Lemmon is more of a kind of fun, playful lady. So yeah, I just think they're very, very funny, and it works really well, and you know, I just love it. But so obviously during the plot, Daphne has a love interest.
Yes. Jack Lemmon, that is.
Yeah,
Daphne. Jack Lemmon.
And
playing Jerry.
Yes. Let's not get too confused about who's who and what
Daphne
the name
is Jerry and Josephine is Joe.
Yes.
Cool. I know stuff.
Josephine Jr.
Yeah.
And ends up kind of going along with this relationship with a man who thinks he's a woman, But, you know, there's the famous line at the end where, is it Otis? I can't remember the...
Otis, I think
Otis,
it is.
yeah. So the man who loves him says, after it's revealed that he's a man, he says, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
And that's the final line of the film. And I just think, well, that's a...
Spoilers?
Sorry. Well, spoilers always. But I think that's a very refreshing, you know, take for 1959. It's kind of... I know it's meant to be humorous, but when you consider kind of, you know, it's only really in recent years, and probably not even fully now, that, you know, transgender is accepted. So... Oh,
yeah. I will say probably the last 5, maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's still working towards accepting that. But I think that, you know, to have a kind of hit film that features cross-dressing so prominently, and I know it's played for laughs, but I just think that little message at the end is, you know, however you take it, is pretty good.
I will say that Jerry and Joe, they don't, they're not sexist.
No.
You know, they kind of, along the way, they're going like, how do women put up with this? You know? And it's I don't think it's empowering for women. I think it's humorous for men and women, because they'll go, men will be like, oh, bloody hell, yeah, I don't know how I could do that, you know, but ha ha ha, Marilyn Monroe's funny. And then the female aspect of the audience might be saying like, oh, you don't even know the half of it, you know. I just think that the subject matter is a little bit controversial, but I don't think that anything in the film is particularly controversial. I don't think that there's anything wrong with how the females are portrayed.
I think you could probably, you know, you could definitely pick it apart and find ways to, you know, be offended. I mean, people always can, but...
Yeah, I mean, people get offended by, like, Scoobs. Yeah, the new Scooby-Doo film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. So
I'm offended saying, I don't know anything about it,
so... what else is there? There's a lot of things that people moan about. And some of it is ridiculous. Like, for instance, I know that somebody complained that the way the Joker in The Dark Knight was portrayed as an ex-army man, an ex-vet, yet it was never said that he was. You know,
that's just a big assumption someone's made.
Exactly. I mean, it's a theory, but again, that's all you can make it as a theory. Sorry, I'll go back to Some Like It Hot.
No, that's all right. We can go off on tangents. That's fine.
I was about to. I was standing at the edge of the cliff looking over, and I had like Back to the Future and the Marty and Doc. There could have been topics.
I think that the thing is, obviously, there might be, you know, like Marilyn being a dumb blonde and chasing after millionaires, you know.
But is that dumb?
Well, probably not. No. Exactly. Yeah. But, you know, and the kind of cross-dressing element. But you do have to just kind of, with most films that we talk about, take them as they are. You know, we're never going to really look at anything that's horribly offensive and obviously offensive. But, you know, you just have to remember that this was 1959.
Yeah, well, I mean, I keep saying it as a joke, but it was a different time. It really was a different time. And again, for this film, I don't think it handled it poorly. I don't think it handled it in any way that could cause offence, really.
No.
I think that it was brilliantly handled, and it's lovely and hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
And Jerry and Joe are hilarious.
They're brilliant, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I love Jack Lemmon anyway, his little cheeky face.
Have you got a favourite Jack Lemmon film?
Well, Some Like It Hot.
Really? Oh, okay, fair enough then. My favourite Jack Lemmon film was always Glengarry Glen Ross, and that's a serious role, but oh god, Jack Lemmon's brilliant in that film. Yeah. Tony Curtis. What? I mean, I can't name any Tony Curtis films.
No, I'm sure I must have seen him in other things, but this is kind of my memory of him is in this.
Whenever anybody says Tony Curtis, I think two things. Some Like It Hot and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a terrible film fan. I don't know many Tony Curtis films.
Well, we'll have to work on that and look some up and watch them.
Well, come on, we've got so many films to watch. We've got to watch Lost Boys at some point.
That's true. That's true.
You want to talk about costumes.
Well, I've already talked about costumes.